chance to talk with Gary Beck.
What happened was the oil pressure of the engine dropped after the burnout. I had good oil pressure starting the engine and in the burnout and backing up, and it was fluctuating a little bit, and then a little dry hop, and we had zero oil pressure. I mean, zero, not 20 pounds or 40 pounds, but zero.
And zero oil pressure will not get you into the semifinals, where we find Gene Snow against Joe Amato. Texas versus Pennsylvania. If you want to root for your favorite state, if you want to root for your favorite driver, Gene Snow, of course, the veteran. Joe Amato moving up through the ranks, and now his second year in Top Fuel racing.
So it's Joe Amato and Gene Snow. These are two-speed transmissions in these cars. About half track they'll shift. So far it is Joe Amato. Gene Snow is right there with him. And suddenly Snow fades. It is Joe Amato going into his second consecutive NHRA final round.
And as you watch the start, you see that the both cars almost simultaneously are off the line together. At this point, just a few feet is the lead for Joe Amato, but at the finish line, the snowman melted and Joe Amato moves into the final. Here comes Connie Coletta. His competition is Jody Smart from San Antonio, Texas, doing their burnouts together.
So one of these men will face Joe Amato in the final round. Will it be Jody Smart, who coasts on down the racetrack? You know, they don't want to stop these cars too quickly, David, because occasionally the fuel will rush away from the pump and cause the car to die. And that has happened quite a few times to Jody Smart. So he's very cautious about that now.
Connie Coletta doing a shorter burnout, backing up down in the shutdown area, getting set to head to the pits to work his car over for the final round is Joe Amato. And Joe very happy with his second in a row final round appearance at an NHRA championship event.
Connie Coletta is very anxious. He's motioning to the starter, get Jody Smart up here. I'm ready. Jody Smart, who took a long time in the burnout, as we explained why he stopped the car so slowly. Coletta is not happy at all. Finally, they are staged and ready. Jody Smart is in.
And the motor explodes on Connie Coletta's car. The car going sideways and trailing oil. You can see it just coming out of the engine and the flames underneath the car. Connie, I am sure, realizes that it's rather warm. Jody Smart shuts it off. He goes on through and takes the win and turns off. But for Connie Coletta, a tremendous engine explosion. The fire still burning. The NHRA Safety Safari crew getting onto the scene, and out comes Coletta of the car. I have a feeling his backside a bit scorched at this moment.
I think he felt the fire on that one, even though the engine is the rear of the car. Coletta inspecting the damage, and he's going to find that it is severe. It's been a long time since I've seen a fire like that right in the starting line area. Coletta is still hot. Now here is where we first noticed that Coletta was in a hurry, a man in a hurry. He wants Jody Smart up there, staged and ready. But you know, David, Jody Smart does the same thing every round. Here you see the pressure. Coletta had too much heat in the motor. Jody Smart always does that long burnout. Always the crews talk before they start the cars as to what each is going to do. I really can't understand Coletta's problem here. It appeared that his crew got in too much of a hurry.
He just let the clutch out and hit the accelerator pedal, and the motor literally exploded on the starting line in a ball of fire. The flames trailing out from beneath the car as the oil finally expends itself in his Coletta Flying Services entry. But Connie had a handful just to keep the car headed in a semblance of a straight direction.
So Connie Coletta, in fact, the explosion so violent, we're told that it blew the cylinder heads right there. Is where it blew the cylinder head right up off the block. So this is all the oil and fuel in the motor being ignited at the same time.
We talk about 2,500 horsepower in these engines. Well, you see it now being directed in exactly the wrong directions. This is not what one wants. Steve Gibbs, the competition director for NHRA, and Connie Coletta, the driver, locked in an intense conversation on the starting line about the principles of staging and who should not stage first. Connie, a longtime competitor, and Steve Gibbs, also a longtime official.
Well, it appears it's falling on deaf ears because, as I mentioned earlier, Jody Smart always does the same thing.